Just when you thought things couldn't get any worse, it seems like this trend is making a comeback. I don't know about you, but I'm very scared. Let's get into it. What is up, guys, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you guys are new. Hi, it's Keisha. Nice to meet you, or getting here because I have quite a bit of things to get on into. I mean, like usual, but it just got real messy and real dark and real dangerous real quickly. A lot of you guys have been in my DMs for the last couple of weeks telling me that Heroin Chic has come back again. I said, huh, what? Who? Heroin, and again in the same sentence, is mad. Who? What? When? Because... So I did a bit more research into it, and I've actually, written a script for today's video. I had fun doing research on this video, but I also was shookity shook by the things that I was seeing, because it's like, I thought we were at a place where like things were getting a tad bit better, but no, we just happened to be turning back the time and the clock, apparently. So we're gonna be talking about Heroin Chic. I hate the word, and it is controversial for a reason. I'm probably gonna get demonetized for this video for using the word heroin and how dark we're gonna get in this video, so just like, comment, subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe. I just like the fact that bodies are trends. It's never made sense to me. It's not something that I try to typically insert myself in. I just see myself as a human being, just living, existing, whatever, breathing, right? Just because I see Bella Hadid killing it and looks great in an outfit does not mean that I don't feel like I would look great in that outfit too, just because we have different, shapes and everything. I don't know, I just kind of do whatever I want to do. Like Miley Cyrus said, bitch, I can't be tamed. Like, I just put me anywhere and I'll kind of kill it. I don't just have one certain style. I find it weird how we are in a day and age where like it's all about what aesthetic you are. Bitch, if I want to be ballet, if I want to be fairies, if I want to be cottagecore, if I want to be grunge, if I want to be flipping street style, I'm gonna do it. Same way, you don't need to be just stuck in one little bracket, okay? And I hate how it's encouraged that you just have to have a certain style. Girl, I'm gonna rock anything. Tomorrow I might flipping wear a corset, the tightest one. The day after that I might wear the flipping baggiest tracksuit. Like, it just is what it is, kind of thing. So yeah. Let me just begin by stating we need to completely remove the term heroin chic from our vocabulary. It's a lot darker than you could imagine. During the time we're having a BBL, and also people, specifically women, focusing on fitness and just, working out, all of that content practically dominating my For You page, it seems as though the fashion industry isn't particularly happy about this. It seems the controversial term heroin chic is set to make a comeback, so let's get into some things. I kind of like the lighting for this video. Also, my nose piercing keeps doing that thing where it sticks out. I promise I'm not picking my nose. I like the sunset light for this video. I like the makeup look. The hair is giving 80s realness, rich auntie called Vivian. What is heroin chic and where did it originate? Heroin chic is a style popularized in early 1990s and characterized by pale skin, dark circles under the eyes, emaciated features, androgyny, and stringy hair, which are typical traits that align with abuse of heroin and drugs, and also cigarettes. They say the American supermodel Gia Karanji is the originator of the trend. Fun fact, she's actually America's first ever supermodel and one of the first ever models to come out as gay. Now, she came out as gay at a time where it wasn't something that was typically celebrated or seen as the correct way of living. She unfortunately died in 1986 to AIDS. Upon being the quote-unquote originator for the trend, a couple other models followed behind her, like Kate Moss and Jamie King, and I'll definitely remember those names. We're going to be touching very briefly on them in just a bit. Whilst people saw her as like the originator of this look, her own makeup artist said that she was never trying to be thin. Like, that wasn't never really the goal. She always wanted to try her best to embrace her curves, any opportunities that she got. So she wasn't trying to look like sick or anything. She didn't try to look like she wasn't eating or anything, which was, a look typically praised around this time too. Yeah, so her makeup artist basically isn't crediting her for creating the style or whatnot. It was just kind of her, and people just labeled her as that. Now, in that same breath, people say it was another person who was the originator of this look. I don't care. Like, I do care, hence why we're here having this conversation. But it just, can you tell I'm pissed? It really annoys me, because it's like, we're doing so much better now. I just don't want things to get to the point where like kids, and not only kids, but gullible women out there, men as well, feel that they have to look a certain way, that they're not accepted, or that they're less than if they look any different from this. Now, it's very funny also how like this is the standards of beauty in like the Western parts of the world, but like in Africa, looking like this doesn't really mean anything. People think that the thicker you are, the more richer you are. But then if you go to like countries in Europe, or if you just look at the standards of beauty in America, this is what people are obsessing to be like, and people will do anything and will take any type of measure to get to this type of look. But are you doing it in a healthy way, and are you generally doing it for you? That's always been the question for me. Okay, so I came across this article, which I'll be sure to link down below. Definitely go and check it out. So Professor Sabrina says that while we may have a few years in which having curves was considered fashionable, the thin ideal has never truly gone out of style. It's older than America itself, but just like America, it's rooted in racist hierarchies. Professor Strings is an associate professor of sociology at the University of California, Irvine, and author of Fearing the Black Body, The Racial Origins of Fat Phobia. When we look at the history of the thin ideal, it began in Western Europe as a way of adjudicating who should be atop or racial hierarchy, one that they themselves had just constructed. You might not be surprised to realize that as they were trying to identify who has the right to command control over the entire globe in colonization, we think it should be Europeans. At the dawn of slave trade, actually, when a lot of the colonists, this was around the 15th century, were heading to various parts of Africa, they were actually very impressed with African women's figures. They were so excited because this was a time in which voluptuousness was also in Western Europe. Over time, as they were trying to provide new and different rationales for slavery, they started to build up the qualities and characteristics that they claimed were associated with whiteness. Part of what they were arguing is that white people, we have an inherent sense of rationality and self-control that people of color lack, especially those folks in Africa. Wow. So I told you guys over on my community post that I would be, making this video, and someone left this comment which I really love and definitely agree with. So shout out to Black Girl World, and the person says, as I said in another post regarding this trend is only desirable on certain women with certain phenotypes. Naturally skinny black girls have never benefited from the skinny/slender look, unless you were like a very tall and slender native African with jet black skin, then maybe you were worthy of being in a runway or something. Also, unfortunately, in the black community, especially in Caribbean and African cultures, full-figured and curvier women have and will always be the beauty standard. Whether this trend makes a comeback or not, only very few will reap the perceived or actual benefits with or without consequences. And I kind of, touched upon this a few minutes ago by saying that it's so interesting how the standards of beauty really differs depending on where you are. Like I said, in Africa, more voluptuous women are praised. The thicker you are, the more healthy, the more richer, you seem. Whereas if you're skinny, it looks like you're not eating and it looks like you're sick. So that's really interesting. But yeah, I couldn't agree more with this statement. I think people really only accept a black skinny girl if they want to be models. That's about it. But if they're not, then people always raise the question like, why are you not eating enough? Or why are you not thick? I always thought most black women are thick or curvaceous or whatever. Like, just people have these ridiculous stereotypes and ideology of what they think a black woman should look like, when in reality, we all come in different shapes and sizes. And there is absolutely, I repeat, absolutely nothing wrong with that. So yeah, let's continue. Gia is also the name of a biographer, really? Because that makes sense. Biographer. Oh God. Gia is also the name of a biographer. It's like I'm mixing biography and biographers in the same sentence. Biographical drama starring Angelina Jolie. She also won a Golden Globe for the portrayal. I've not actually seen it, but I think I'm definitely intrigued to go and check it out now. It was rated like 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. Gia is a 1998 drama which captures the life of Gia, a Philadelphia native who moves to New York City to become a fashion model. It also showcases a dark side of her world, such as the persistent loneliness, especially after Wilhelmina, her former agent, passes away. This then drives her to using mood-altering drugs such as coke and heroin. Let's look at an example of another model/actor who is briefly mentioned earlier. Let's talk about Jamie King. Now, I was thinking, I know this person. I've seen her before somewhere. I just couldn't pinpoint where. When I was doing some research, she's the one from White Chicks. She was in White Chicks. She was in Cheaper by the Dozen. She also starred in a few other movies as well. She took to her Instagram back in 2014 to post a photo where she was 16 at the time, and it went left. It went left real quick. I don't know how she didn't understand that there was going to be controversy when she posted that photo. The photo shows a very frail Jamie, who was 16 at the time, lying on a bed wearing shredded clothes as she's surrounded by posters of musicians Jerry Garcia, Kurt Cobain, and Sid Vicious, individuals who had lost their lives to drug addiction. At the time, the picture caused controversy as it played up to the heroin chic trend of the early 90s, a fact Jamie alludes to in the picture caption. Trend eventually faded, in part due to the heroin-related death of prominent fashion photographer David Sorrenti in 1997. Journalist Amy Splinder described Sorrenti's death as like a small bomb going off, extinguishing public denial of heroin use in the fashion world. It's very interesting though, because I don't think a lot, like, I know people to this day who really want to be models. Like, I mean, I think when I was younger, I wanted to be a model. Sorry, I'm laughing because... Whilst my face card doesn't decline now, there was a period where it did. Like, I genuinely thought, okay, if I go out a lot more, maybe I'll be scouted, because I was, you know, watching Naomi Campbell's story of like how she got found and she was, you know, she was seen out just shopping. And then the agent came up to her and I thought that would be me. That should be me. Babes, that was not me. It wasn't written in my story and that's okay, I've accepted it now. But there was a time period where I actually wanted to be a model, but like I didn't want to, like, I liked food a lot. Like, did like food, I didn't like working out, so I was like, oh, this is not gonna work for me. Even though my face card low-key, high-key declined back then, I still was optimistic. A babe can dream. Ooh, girl. Ooh. I just took my breath away. The term heroin chic itself was coined at Sorrenti's wake by editor Ingrid Sitchi, who commented, "This is heroin, this isn't chic." After his death, Sorrenti's mother, Francesca Sorrenti, led a public campaign against the use of heroin in fashion, to which the promotion of heroin chic subsided. In 1999, Vogue dubbed Brazilian supermodel Giselle the return of the sexy model, the end of the heroin chic era. Former President Bill Clinton condemned the look, calling it destructive and a glorification of heroin. So let's go ahead and talk about Calvin Klein. I remember wanting Calvin Klein like back in 2014. Like, I could not afford it. I would not even dare ask my parents for it. Like, just get cheap underwear from Primark. Do you know what I mean? Like, I could not go and ask my mum for like Calvin Klein underwear. Like, the top was already expensive as it is, and the matching pants. What is it that Sharpay Evans said? I need fabulous. Seriously though, she didn't lie. They did a campaign back in 1993, and the face of the campaign was Kate Moss. Whilst you may not be a gullible person, the next person is. And it's not an age thing. It's not just like young women looking at this. It's also people of her age, people older, thinking like, damn, I don't feel sexy or beautiful or even seen. But this is something that I'm constantly seeing praised. This is something that I'm seeing constantly praised. That when I'm walking past different stores, I don't see my body being praised. I don't see someone who's plus size. I just see, the size 4. I made a video back in 2019. It was titled, well, actually, I can't remember what it was titled. Wait, what? What was it titled? Brandy Melville. That's why I go so hard with the fact that like diversity and inclusivity is everything. I've been saying this from like the beginning of my channel and beginning of me setting foot on this platform. Like, inclusivity, diversity, just feeling seen is everything. Because when I was younger, it was hard for me to feel valued or seen. My parents did a good job at like gassing me up and praising me and everything, but it just didn't quite feel enough. And obviously you have dumbass pricks, you have kids bullying you in school, so it's like one thing to feel praise from like your parents and people in your house, but then when you step out of that, which was like majority of my life, like 5 years of being in high school, right? You'll be in the building 5 times a week from like 9 to 3 p.m. and you're just being bullied left, right, center, right? Whilst I might have not been hit with it as much as like the person next to me, I still did experience that. Yeah, I don't really remember my point. You know when you just talk so much, you don't remember how you started? Anyways. Do you think anybody who is taking drugs, and specifically in this case on heroin, really wants to be on it? No. No. I think you're just really out of touch. And I think people will do anything to profit off of something that's quite marketable. Which is, it makes me feel sick even just saying marketable. Yeah, people are just so out of touch with reality and will do anything for a bag, several bags. It really does show. And I kind of just look at brands from like the 80s, 90s, early 2000s who contributed to this and just think, I'm giving them a huge side eye, like, what were you thinking? Despite the declaration, thin bodies remained a mainstream ideal for another well, almost 2 decades, enduring through the shifting aesthetics of Y2K, indie, sleaze, and twee. In the early 2000s, messaging promoting unhealthily thin bodies were rampant on largely unmonitored online forums and communities like Tumblr. I know people rave on about Tumblr and how iconic it was. I just never really gravitated towards it. I felt it already. Like, I already knew this was going to be a problem. Especially because I felt like Tumblr was such a big platform during my years of secondary school, aka high school. It's already bad enough going to an all-girls secondary school and feeling the pressures and like the whole envy and jealousy and wanting to look a certain way, but to be online as well and just like feed into what I felt the platform and users were doing just wouldn't have worked for me. And I'm so happy that I clocked onto it a lot earlier on. But for some people, you know, they fed into what users on Tumblr felt was attractive and great and the way women should be looking. I find it really strange how it's always women. Like, whenever we're talking about standards of beauty or aesthetics, we're always talking about women, but men definitely face things for sure. Like, they feel that they have to look a certain way, fit like The Rock, built. I don't feel comfortable tapping into that conversation because I'm just not a man, and I feel like it's better to just hear it from a man who's actually dealt with this. People also like coined the term Tumblr 2014 girl. Well, not in that order. 2014 Tumblr girl. With the prevalence of pro-anorexia content and the glamorization of depression and drugs, in many ways, a Tumblr girl was just heroin chic repackaged for the teens. So G-Eazy, the rapper, infamously paid tribute to the aesthetic in his 2014 song, Tumblr Girls, which opened with, "I'm in love with these Tumblr girls with skinny waists and drug habits. You thought you ate." Its influence has begun. Smoking is back, wrote the New York Times last month, reporting that in 2020, for the first time in 2 decades, cigarette sales have increased. The trend has reached the beauty industry as well. According to the kids out there, duck under eye circles are cool again. Can you just like pick one? Because which one is it? ED clinics have reported an increase in people seeking help in the most recent months. In January of 2022, Beat provided the highest number of support sessions for people affected by EDs in a single month in its history, a 7% increase from the same time period last year. It is generally now widely accepted that the media and social media in particular precipitate or feed into poor mental health and EDs, says Dr. Heather Naylor, clinic director at the London Centre of EDs and Body Image. You can still find skinny worship on social media, though apps try to restrict content that glorifies EDs. TikTok has blocked the search term heroin chic, saying it violates content guidelines. Search thinspo on the app and you'll be redirected to resources like the National ED Association. The same goes if you look up the word skinny on Instagram. I came across this Pinterest user who praised the like heroin chic looks, and even people in the comment section like didn't correct the person. They just kind of like fed into it and asked, "Oh my god, who is this person? Oh my god, yeah, same goals." I'm like, bitch, miss me with that. There's this picture of this lady who looks skinny. Looks like I'm gonna be honest with you, looks like she ain't eating like that, I'm gonna be honest. On top of that, they put text that says, "I just want to exude heroin chic 90s supermodel energy." No, you don't. I think there's really no excuse for being dumb anymore. Had you existed in a time where like Google wasn't a thing, you couldn't just research like that. Is goals to look like you haven't eaten in a long time? Is goals to look like your body's going through it? And when I saw that, underneath it, I saw a post that says the feminine urge to do coke. Huh? You guys just be taking any word and running with it. What do you mean the feminine urge? You know what? And then I decided that's enough internet for the day. People feel like skinny is always going to be, it's just how it's always been. As long as you're doing something in moderation and because it's going to make you genuinely happy and in a healthy way, then I'm all for it. But anything outside of that, I'm not going to put myself through that. Why am I going to stress myself? Life is too short for that, and you only get one life. I don't want it being filled with me obsessing over the next skinny model that I aspire to look like. No, I'm gonna just be myself. Is it fun? I mean, sometimes yeah, most times no. But you know what? I'm just gonna make do with what I do. And I'm gonna learn to get comfortable and accept it. I'm at a loss for words, babes. I'm at a loss for words, and that hardly happens on this channel. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. And once this video is finished, I'm never gonna use this word again because it's just not really it, is it? I've been your host, Itzkeisha, and I'll catch you guys real soon for a brand new video. Bye.